rest of the section we can breeze through. It's not so much of discussion, more of technicalities. Okay, so please read.
People in general are all engaged in senseless work. They are systematically unmindful of the real beneficial work, which is the devotional service of the Lord, technically called the Archana regulations.
So, what is most striking in this statement which Prabhupada makes? Yes, we are systematically unmindful. It is not that we are simply unmindful, we are systematically unmindful. Means that there is a whole plan of how we will become unmindful of our real beneficial work. The whole education system is godless, the whole economy is godless, the whole lifestyle is godless, and there is huge plan of how to make it more and more godless. There is huge research work going on to prove that creation has been done without God. They send so many telescope after telescope they send on the sky, and they say that, oh, this telescope will capture better picture than the previous telescope and will know everything about creation. So, and this is not like sending a telescope in the sky is not like a 10 rupees, 15 rupees job. This is billions of dollars being spent. And the billions of dollars spent on the so-called technology, mobile phone, that phone, this phone, everything. Systematically, we are unmindful of devotional service. Systematically, we are being made to believe that sense gratification is the only purpose of life. And that sense gratification can be delivered only by godless sites. So this is our problem. We are living this problem, which is systematically unmindful of living a particular life. So therefore, we should become very careful of not getting attracted to this. So therefore, Prabhupada gives the whole set of shlokas from Bhagavatam. These three shlokas, Matirna Krishne Paratassuto Va Mitobi Bhatye Grihavrutanam Adantago Vibhishatam Tamishram Punah Punah Charvita Charvananam Natye Viduhu Swatagatim Hi Vishnum Durashaya Bahirartamaninaha Andha Etandhai Rupaniyamanas Tepi Shatantriyam Urdham Nibaddha. Is like a blind man leading a blind man. Andha etandhai rupaniyamanas. And they are simply going. So what is the solution? Naisham matistavat urukkamangrim sparshityanartopagamam yadartaha mahishayam padarajo abhishekam nishkinchanam navrinitayavat. So unless the society takes bath, rajo abhishekam, they have to take bath, not simply sprinkle little bit. They need to take bath on the dust of the lotus feet of great personalities. That is a main solution. Sparshati anarthopagamo yadartaha. Upagama means reducing or vanishing. Anarthas have to vanish, they have to reduce. So, in order to do that, one should take shelter of the great personalities. Take the dust of their lotus feet and take bath in that dust. Otherwise, we will rot in this material world. Otherwise, we will rot in this material world. So, you had some question on this purport.
Yeah. 17.
Yeah, question on 17.
No, I asked the 7th verse. Like similar to that.
Yeah. You had one more question on some purport, I don't know. Whichever is the purport you asked.
That was later. That is later.
Okay,
So,
please read.
if such insignificant living entities can enjoy life within the water, why can't the Supreme Lord, who is all powerful, sleep on the cool body of a serpent and enjoy in the turmoil of violent ocean waves?
The Lord is, there are so many small, insignificant living entities who are enjoying in water, fish and whale and everything. Why can't the Supreme Lord enjoy? So, question. sports you can enjoy. Okay, please read.
Brahma, the translation?
The highlighted.
Highlight.
Brahma is teaching us the beginning of Archana regulations from morning 4 o'clock to night 10 o'clock. Early in the morning, the devotee has to rise from his bed and pray to the Lord, and there are other regulative principles for offering Mangala Arati early in the morning.
So, Brahma is also doing Mangalarti, and we are also doing Mangalarti. Everybody has to do Mangalarti. And Prabhupada says, what is a devotee's life? Morning,
Praying.
4 o'clock to night,
10 o'clock.
10 o'clock. So, this is our timing. Morning 4 o'clock to night 10 o'clock. We should be very busy during this time. Okay, please read. Continue.
Before Brahma took up the task of creation, he found the Lord sleeping on the serpent bed in the form of the water of initiation. Therefore, sleeping exists in the internal potency of the Lord, and this is not denied by a pure devotee of the Lord, like Brahma and his disciplic associates. It is clearly said here that the Lord slept very happily within the violence of the water, manifesting thereby that he is able to do anything and everything by his transcendental will and not to be hampered by any circumstance. His mistake is that he compared the Lord to himself, and that the comparison is also a material thought.
Yeah, this is the mistake of the yogis and the jnanis. What is that? They try to actually define Lord with them as the parameter, as the benchmark. They try to define Lord with themselves as the benchmark. But we cannot be the benchmark for defining the Lord. We cannot be the reference point for defining God. Man cannot be the reference point because by nature God is beyond man's understanding. Atasya Krishna Nama Adina Bhavet Grahyam Indriyehi. So, therefore, simply trying to say that my experience is this and whatever is not my experience should be God, this is very stupid way of defining God. This is defining God by negation, neti, neti, neti. So, Prabhupada says that if we try to define anything by negation, we'll come to impersonal. So, defining by negation will simply lead to impersonal understanding. But we have to understand the positive aspect. Like for example, if a man has a loan, and if a man has no loan, that does not mean that a man who is not having no loan is a rich man. It's just that he does not have no loan. A man who has money is a rich man. So same way, opposite of having is not having. Opposite of having is that having something better. We have misery, God has happiness. Both of them have something. Opposite is not in not having alone. God does not have misery, but God has happiness. So therefore, defining by negation will only bring us to neutral point. It will not take us to the positive experience of God. So that is their mistake. That they are trying to define God with themselves as the reference point. So therefore they say that not this, not this, not this. The whole nature comes from that point. So here it's explained that, Prabhupada is explaining that simply by negating we cannot understand. Okay.
That was 22 or 21?
21.
21.
Okay, please read.
Lord Brahma prayed for his mercy so that he might be able to create the universal affairs as he did before. Only by the Lord's causeless mercy could he create both material and spiritual personalities like Marichi and Narada respectively. Brahma prayed to the Lord because he is very much dear to the surrendered soul. The surrendered soul knows nothing but the Lord, and therefore the Lord is very affectionate towards him.
Yeah, so the Lord is very affectionate towards the surrendered soul. The surrendered soul knows nothing but the Lord. So therefore the relationship between them is perfect. And knowing nothing but the Lord means knowing everything. Because ultimately Lord is everything. So therefore, knowing nothing but the Lord, does not limit our knowledge. It actually expands our knowledge. Okay. You got 9.23. Yes, please read.
Only to engage in his service in the creation of the material world, and I pray that I not be materially affected by my works, for thus I may be able to give up the false prestige of being the creator. Brahma, who is only an assistant in the modes of creation, wanted to remain in his actual position as an instrument of the Lord, instead of becoming puffed up by the false prestige of thinking himself the Creator. That is the way of becoming dear to the Supreme Lord and receiving His benediction. Foolish men want to take credit for all creations made by them, but intelligent persons know very well that not a blade of grass can move without the will of the Lord. Thus, all the credit for wonderful creations must go to Him.
Yeah, so this is our point, that everything should go to Him. We should not have anything for ourselves. So we discussed the concept of hot potato. Remember that the accepting credit is like taking a hot potato in hand. So we should not take this hand potato. We should simply pass it on. We should not take credit for things which we have done, nor should we look for recognition for things which we have done. Sometimes this is also found in devotees. Devotees have great anxiety that, oh, I am doing so much, but it is not getting recognized. They think like that I am doing so much, but I am not getting any recognition. In the beginning, it is fine. In the beginning, when a person is neophyte, then one looks for recognition because that is how material world works. In the material world, always we are looking for some recognition. And that recognition is the source of our inspiration. That someone tells, oh, you are doing such a nice job, then we become very happy, and then we want to do more and more. And that's how it is in the material world. So, in the material world, one of the biggest tool is recognition. It is bigger than money. People look for some sort of recognition than money. Even if you give them a lot of money, but if you don't recognize them, they are not very happy. You give them less money, but you recognize them, they are very happy. That's why in the material world, companies have various ways of recognizing people. They have employee of the month, that this star employee, that employee, this employee. They give some award to some best employee, long-standing employee, loyal employee. So many different things. They have different system for recognition. But in the spiritual life, we are not meant to look for some recognition. Whatever service we do, we should be happy that we have been given the opportunity to do that service. We should not think, oh, I am doing some service and nobody is recognizing. But at the same time, if we are leaders, we should understand that people require recognition, and then we should give credit to people. Oh, you are doing nice job, you are doing good service. So this way people remain motivated, devotees remain motivated to do some job. But our own self, in our own practice, we should understand that looking for recognition is not something which is good in devotional service. You should understand this.
When recognition comes, like it's easy to say you give, but how do you practically apply?
Yeah, how do we practically apply this hot potato principle? It's a good question. Okay. How do we practically apply this hot potato principle? Yes.
First be aware, and then pray that to guide how to pass it on. Not like just words, oh, not me, not me. I mean, I've seen devotees, but genuinely pray from within, because we don't want to burn ourselves.
Correct. Okay.
I was thinking about your point today morning, and I was also thinking, how do I deal with it? So I was thinking only prayers can help me, because Krishna knows my heart. How to
Okay,
do this.
good. That's good. Okay. You have something to offer.
I know that whatever I give class, all my seniors are there, so I know that who is back. So I keep calm.
Keep calm, do your job.
Keep calm and do your job.
Keep calm and do your job. Okay, it's a good formula. Okay. Yes, you have something to say.
Problem will play with competition.
What is that?
You will help, you will glorify these devotees and you will glorify someone else more, and they will compete to have his sight and smile.
Okay.
He will do like that.
Okay.
And he gets great good distribution of this.
Oh, okay. So it creates nice competition.
Yes.
Okay, good. Some transcendental competition.
Yes.
Okay. But his question is that how not to take credit.
And then you come to Prabhupada and you say, this is my offering.
Okay. Okay, bring it to Prabhupada's lotus feet, offer there, saying that this is my offering. Okay. Yes, Prabhuji.
I feel like if we were to put ourselves at the forefront of our activities, then it wouldn't be like a natural devotional service anyway, because it would be an illusion, right? Because if we're putting ourselves and engaging the intention of carrying out, that is not actually bhakti, right? So if we always, I know it says this in the purple, like put Krishna in the center, but what that actually means is any action or intention that we do, if we wholeheartedly project that towards Krishna, then we wouldn't think about ourselves. We wouldn't have the sense.
Yeah, but sometimes physically we may have to push ourselves in the front, no? Sometimes we may have to physically push ourselves in the front. Not every time we can remain in the background. It just required that leadership means sometimes you have to stand in the front and lead.
It's like we want to do something for Krishna. That's like with that attitude, when you go and you get recognition. That's it.
Yes.
I think you mentioned that we should be also, our best friend is our enemy, so we should gather with people who are our enemy. So always have someone who disagree constantly with you. You will balance.
You get morals.
Okay, good. See, you understood what I said, no? Sometimes you have to project yourself in the front. You have to just do it because you have to get things done. So then, what will you do?
So you mean like one's not motivated, but they have to rise up to the...
Yes, yeah. Sometimes you have to do it.
But then I think that means that one's not structured in their understanding of what their purpose is, because if one is not actually in touch with their the reason why they're doing what they're doing,
Yeah.
then it would cause them to be bewildered, isn't it? Because you notice all of the leaders that are doing very well,
Yeah.
they don't get discouraged because they know their purpose, you see. That's why Prabhupada always emphasized about his way of preaching is very simple, because he likes to keep terms in people's minds, because if people can keep these simple terms and they keep the philosophy simple, then it's easy to remember, right? Whereas if it turns really complex, only very elevated people can be able to carry out their duties, but they're elevated because they can even turn these complicated philosophical concepts into simplicity themselves. So the root is, I feel like anyway, is being simple in our understanding of the philosophy, using that as a guide.
Good. Very nice points. Very nice points. Yes, Prabhuji, you have to say something. Prabhuji, yourself?
Regarding his question.
Regarding his question.
Say again?
Tamil.
English, tell English.
I'm telling, sometimes you are getting so much recognition given to you. How you actually handle it without getting
We can handle everything. Think of Krishna and the spiritual master too. Whatever get, we just carry on. We
Okay.
will solve by the spiritual master. We are
Okay.
dependent on the spiritual master.
Okay, good. Yes.
The other point is that people that are experienced, they already know that if they have any material contamination, then it leads to being self-centered, and they see that as like a warning sign that something bad and wrong is going to happen.
But many times we don't recognize, that's the issue. No? See, if you're able to see it, it is good. The problem is that half the time we don't see it, like Daksha was not able to see it. He was thinking he is perfectly alright.
For me, it always happens in the consciousness, because if you're becoming self-centered, naturally your consciousness won't be spiritual, it isn't, it'll be material. So if you can see that your consciousness is falling down and it's inferior, then already you know that something you're doing is wrong, isn't it?
Yeah, okay. If you are able to see it, it is fine. But the question is when you're not able to see it.
Pride comes in highest.
Okay, yes.
Being the association of the devotees,
Yeah, of course.
through the friction,
Yeah.
as well, Baptiste Nandai, Saraswati Thakur, he says one time, every devotee could do one menial service to remind themselves that they are servant of the
Yes, that's good. That's a very good way of doing it. Like, we can do some menial service, which always keeps us very humble.
What does menial mean?
Menial.
Menial?
Which we don't like to do.
Oh, like
Menial means very simple.
Cleaning.
Like,
humble ourselves.
yeah, like when I just got initiated, when I was very new in my Krishna, even now I am new only, but at the time I was very new in my Krishna consciousness. And that time the first Janmashtami program was announced. I mean, that was the first Janmashtami program for me, not for others. Like, they are doing Janmashtami, I was devotee and I had joined, I got initiated, and then that was the first Janmashtami program. So then in that Janmashtami program, they were telling that any devotees who want to sign up for any services, you can sign up for different services. So then I thought the best service to sign up for is Abhishekam service.
Washing.
Because you can be very near. No, there is not so intense. So I thought we can be very near the deity, and then we can do Abhishek, and we can be help, and because only second initiate devotees will do Abhishek, but we can help them, we can be very near the deity, and it is very high, high level service like that, to be near the deity and things like that. So I signed up for Abhishekam service. And then that day I came from office, I took bath, and then I went there. I had all my dhoti, everything packed, and then I went to the hall, and because of so much rush, they had system of putting all the chappals in a particular place. All the shoes, they had a system of putting it in a particular place, and some devotees are assigned to put the shoes in a particular bag and then give tokens to people. So I went and removed my shoe, and then I gave the shoe to someone. Someone received my shoe and put it in their bag and gave me a token. I saw who was doing that. That was my leader, actually. He was doing that service. He was standing there and he was doing the service. He was receiving all the chappals, he was putting it in the bag, and he was giving out tokens to everybody. I got slapped that day. So I thought that, I was going to do some like big service and that and this and things like that. And then I found my leader was collecting chappals and putting them in packet, and then he was giving out tokens. So sometimes we can just be carried away by doing some so-called great service. So when we do services like this, then we become humble. Then
another thing comes now, proud that I am doing a humble service. Right, that I am so humble, I am doing humble. No, because I have seen devotees. They speak that. Then when I do humble service, then I see how humble service I am doing.
So then what is the mood of doing service? What is the mood of doing service? What is the right mood for do service?
Is it seeing ourselves like lower than a straw in the street?
No.
Okay.
For me, it is I see my level and my capacity, because I don't want to be too much doing low and then get fried also and being proud also.
Okay.
So I like to be in awareness.
Okay.
And my Shiksha Guru says selfless and selfish.
Yeah.
Self-care in between.
Yeah. Okay.
So be in self-care mode and do things on that level, in that
Okay.
mood.
Okay. Okay. Anybody else? Prabhupada had a very simple formula. It's a very, very powerful formula. It's a very simple formula, but very, very powerful formula. I try to follow the formula.
Do the needful.
Needful.
Do the needful. That's it.
Then
One should do service in this mood, because this is the mood of the spiritual world. In spiritual world, everybody is doing the needful so that Radha and Krishna can meet. So nobody is saying that this is my service, this is not my service, this is good for me, this is not good for me, this is not my department, this is my department. Nobody is saying anything. They are simply doing the needful. So if we keep this mood of doing the needful, if some service comes, whatever it is, big, small, medium, do it with full zeal, and when that goes away, do some other service with full zeal. Don't worry about what service is there, and don't worry about what service goes away also. Sometimes some service may come, sometimes some service may go. One should not be too much affected by these things, and one should not get too much attached to some service also, that we start thinking, oh, without this service I cannot do anything else. We should be ready to do the needful. This is a preaching movement, and whatever need may come, and sometimes those needs we may like, sometimes those needs we may not like. And most of the time we may end up with services which we don't like.
Yes.
But we should have this mood of doing the needful. And we should just do it. And we should do it nicely. To the extent possible by us, we should just do it nicely. It's a very nice mood to have. And if we have this mood, then we are always aware that we are doing something to please the spiritual master, or to please Krishna, or to please Prabhupada. Then we are always aware of this point. Because we are not doing something because we like, or we are not doing something because we don't like. We are simply doing because that's what is the needful. That's a very important mood to have. So that answers your question.
Yes.
So many contributions you got from different people.
Perfect.
Okay? Yes. Please read.
This is a warning for one and all in the spiritual advancement of life. Unless one is sufficiently protected by the Lord, he may fall down from his spiritual position. Therefore, one has to pray constantly to the Lord for protection and the blessing to carry out one's duty. Lord Chaitanya also entrusted his missionary work to his devotees and assured them of his protection against the onslaught of material affection. The path of spiritual life is stated in the Vedas to be like the edge of a sharpened razor. A little inattention may at once create havoc and bloodshed, but one who is a completely surrendered soul, always seeking protection from the Lord in the discharge of his entrusted duties, has no fear of falling into material contamination.
Yeah, so we should never fail to seek protection from the Lord. Every day we should pray to the Lord to give us protection. We should not take anything for granted. We should not take Krishna consciousness for granted. We should not take our position for granted, our service for granted. Anything may happen at any time. This material world is a very dangerous place. Bhagavatam says, padam padam yet vipadam. Means every step there is danger. But we should not concentrate on the danger, na tesham. Padam padam yet vipadam na tesham. We should not concentrate on the danger. We should rather concentrate on the Lord's lotus feet. We should pray for protection and face that danger. Whatever is the danger, every day when you come out, there is danger. We should. But the most important aspect of a devotee's life is prayer. That's the most important aspect of devotee's life. We should never fail to pray. So we should pray for protection. There's a Prabhupada pastime. Prabhupada said that Maya will never catch me. Then later he was going and praying to the Lord, and his disciples asked him, Prabhupada, what you are praying? I was just praying to the Lord that whatever I said, let it be true, let Maya not catch me. So Prabhupada also said that the biggest problem he has with his followers is that they are not sufficiently afraid of Maya. We should be sufficiently afraid of Maya. It's a very important thing. We should not try to do some crazy things. thinking that, oh, I can do whatever I want.